Hello, everyone. There are stories about power that rarely get told, not because they don't exist, but because they happen quietly. While society was busy debating who belongs and who doesn't, a different reality was taking shape behind the scenes. LGBTQ+ leaders were building influence, wealth, and positions that the world now depends on. This video isn't about controversy or headlines. It's about people who reached the top without asking for permission and why their impact is impossible to ignore. Thank you for being here. Let's begin. As CEO of Apple, Tim Cook sits at the helm of one of the most valuable corporations ever created, a company that doesn't merely sell devices, but shapes how the modern world communicates, works, and lives. Under his leadership, Apple crossed historic market cap milestones, expanded aggressively into services, health, and sustainability, and strengthened its reputation as a long-term value machine rather than a hype-driven tech brand. Cook's leadership style is deliberately understated. He avoids spectacle, favors discipline over drama, and prioritizes ethics alongside profit. His annual compensation and stock awards routinely reach tens of millions of dollars, but his true power lies in credibility. Investors trust his restraint, employees respect his consistency, governments negotiate with him as a steady, predictable force. When Tim Cook publicly came out as gay, it was not framed as a headline stunt or cultural moment. It was quiet, measured, and intentional. By doing so, he sent a clear message. Authenticity does not weaken leadership, it strengthens it. Cook represents a modern archetype of power. Calm, ethical, immensely wealthy, and unapologetically himself at the highest level of global capitalism. Ellen DeGeneres didn't simply host a talk show, she built an empire. Through television, production companies, licensing, endorsements, and high-value real estate investments, Ellen turned personal relatability into a massive commercial engine. Her estimated net worth of around $500 million reflects decades of cultural relevance and financial intelligence. But that success was anything but guaranteed. When Ellen came out as gay on national television in the late 1,990 seconds, the consequences were immediate and brutal. Sponsors disappeared. Networks distanced themselves. Her career nearly ended overnight. Instead of retreating, Ellen rebuilt, slowly, deliberately, and on her own terms. She returned not as a controversy, but as a symbol of warmth, humor, and emotional safety for mainstream audiences. Over time, authenticity became her brand, and that brand became enormously profitable. Ellen's journey proves a hard truth of visibility. Honesty may cost you everything at first, but sustained integrity can eventually build something even larger. Peter Thiel operates where technology, money, and ideology converge. As a co-founder of PayPal and one of Facebook's earliest investors, Thiel helped architect the financial and social infrastructure of Silicon Valley itself. With a fortune exceeding $7 billion, his influence is less about celebrity and more about structural power. Unlike many LGBTQ+ figures whose impact is cultural or symbolic, Thiel's power is deeply embedded in systems: venture capital, defense technology, data infrastructure, and political funding. He does not seek mass approval. He shapes outcomes quietly through capital allocation and long-term strategy. By being openly gay while occupying some of the most elite and traditionally conservative financial circles in the world, Thiel challenges outdated assumptions about who controls capitalism. His existence alone disrupts the narrative that LGBTQ+ leaders merely participate in markets. Thiel proves they design them. Few artists in modern history have achieved the scale, longevity, and emotional reach of Elton John. With over 5 decades of global success and a net worth estimated above $500 million, his career transcends genre, generation, and cultural shifts. Elton's story is not simply about talent, it is about endurance. At a time when queerness was seen as incompatible with mainstream stardom, he refused to minimize himself. He was flamboyant, vulnerable, extravagant, and intensely personal. His music carried emotion without apology, and audiences followed. In doing so, Elton John shattered the myth that queer artists must soften their identity to be accepted. He proved that visibility does not limit universality, it expands it. His legacy is not just a catalog of hits, but a cultural permission slip to be loud, to be emotional, and to still be legendary. As CEO of OpenAI, Sam Altman stands at the epicenter of the artificial intelligence revolution, a space that will define how humanity works, learns, governs, and creates for decades to come. While his personal wealth is estimated in the hundreds of millions of dollars, Altman's true power lies elsewhere: influence over the direction of future intelligence itself. Unlike traditional tech executives who focus on consumer products or platforms, Altman operates at the level of civilization-scale ideas. He speaks openly about alignment, risk, ethics, and long-term human survival topics most CEOs avoid. His leadership style is intellectual, composed, and unapologetically ambitious. Openly gay and unafraid of philosophical confrontation, Altman represents a new archetype of LGBTQ+ leadership, not built on spectacle or personal branding, but on ideas that reshape reality. His presence sends a clear message: queer leaders are not just participating in the future, they are actively designing it. Megan Rapinoe is far more than an elite athlete. She is a brand, a voice, and a global symbol of modern confidence. As a World Cup champion and Olympic gold medalist, Rapinoe has earned millions through professional contracts, endorsements, sponsorships, and international partnerships. But her influence extends well beyond the pitch. Rapinoe has consistently used her platform to speak on equal pay, LGBTQ+ rights, and social justice not as side projects, but as core elements of who she is. Her success dismantles the myth that activism dilutes excellence. Being openly gay was never a liability for Rapinoe. It was part of her authority. Her confidence, visibility, and refusal to self-edit turned her into one of the most recognizable figures in global sports. She proves that power today isn't just about winning, it's about standing clearly, publicly, and unapologetically in who you are. Neil Patrick Harris built a career that quietly dismantled decades of Hollywood assumptions. From sitcom superstardom to Broadway dominance and award show hosting, he has maintained consistent multi-million-dollar earnings across television, theater, and live entertainment. At a time when being openly gay was still considered a career risk for leading men, Harris chose honesty over strategic ambiguity. Instead of limiting his opportunities, authenticity expanded them. He proved that charm, masculinity, humor, and mass appeal are not incompatible with openness. By succeeding without compromise, Harris normalized what once seemed impossible. He didn't position himself as an exception, he made authenticity routine. His career stands as evidence that the entertainment industry didn't lose anything by embracing openness. It gained longevity, credibility, and range. Ricky Martin was already a global phenomenon long before he came out. With chart-topping hits, sold-out world tours, and a carefully constructed image of Latin masculinity, he had everything the pop industry traditionally rewards. When he publicly embraced his sexuality, many expected a decline. What followed instead was evolution. With an estimated net worth exceeding $130 million, Ricky Martin's post-coming-out career became more intentional, more respected, and more durable. He shifted from being merely a pop idol to becoming a cultural figure, an artist with depth, purpose, and voice. His activism, philanthropy, and artistic choices gained credibility precisely because they were rooted in honesty. Ricky Martin shattered a persistent myth that masculinity, queerness, and mass appeal cannot coexist. He proved that authenticity does not erase desire or admiration, it refines it. His career stands as proof that coming out doesn't end superstardom. Sometimes, it matures it. Gigi Gorgeous represents a fundamentally new model of power. As a transgender creator, model, and entrepreneur, she didn't wait for acceptance from traditional media institutions. She documented her life in real time, her transition, her relationships, her growth, and invited millions to witness it without filters. Through YouTube, fashion collaborations, brand partnerships, and personal ventures, Gigi built a multi-million-dollar digital empire. Her income did not come from gatekeepers. It came directly from audiences who valued authenticity over polish. Her success marks a generational shift. LGBTQ+ figures no longer need permission to be visible, profitable, or influential. They can own their platforms, control their narratives, and monetize truth directly. Gigi Gorgeous didn't just build a career, she helped redefine what legitimacy looks like in the modern media economy. David Geffen is one of the most powerful figures in entertainment history and one of the least publicly visible. As a co-founder of major record labels and DreamWorks Studios, Geffen helped shape modern music, film, and celebrity culture itself. Openly gay yet fiercely private, Geffen amassed a fortune estimated at over $8 billion. He didn't seek the spotlight, he controlled the infrastructure behind it. The artists, studios, contracts, and systems that defined fame often passed through his hands. Geffen's story dismantles the illusion that LGBTQ+ power is new. It has existed quietly behind the scenes for decades, long before society was comfortable acknowledging it. His success proves that queer influence did not wait for permission, applause, or acceptance. It built the machine anyway.